What's up, guys? So I'll tell you what, the attempts at people to cancel me, man, they've really ramped up lately, but I'm gonna tell you, I got a solution for it, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. I got some 250 predictions, and there's a guy that we've kind of overlooked that might give Hayden Deegan an issue. If you haven't tried Nano-Xtreme, I'm telling you, best pain solution you'll ever use. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code Cooksy and get free shipping. If you've got an event this summer, Loretta's, Mammoth, or whatever big event you're training for, click the link below with Coach Rob Beams and get your 30-minute consultation, and he'll make sure you're doing exactly what you need to. It'll be the best 30 minutes of preparation that you've had all the way through to your event. Precision Transport, a family-owned shipping company that believes in customer service, reasonable pricing, just good people. Hit up pretransport.com if you ship anything using a truck.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So anyone that watches my channel, you guys know, I bring you my opinion. I don't care what people want to hear. I give you what I actually think. But dang, they are trying so hard to get my YouTube channel banned. So I was told that there's a PR agency that's going through all my videos. I can see they make some comments and they flag some stuff, but they went all the way back to an old interview with Coach Rob. We were talking about Hopper, Johnny Hopper, and he had a really bad, nasty injury. And then I showed a picture of his arm and how bad it looked. They flagged it for graphic nature. Are you serious? Literally, if you read the YouTube policy, it says, if you show an injury describing what happened, why it happened, if it's just not for shock value, it's fine. It is crazy the attempts that they're going to flag me. So I've got to fight that one. I've got another one. Remember that Moto Jones idiot? His name's Brian Brock. He lives in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. So I thought his channel was funny. So I started, promoting him, and it was hilarious. I got a good kick out of some of the things he said. I was like, whoa, but he still said it. I was like, whatever. I enjoy it. A lot of you guys thought it was me. It wasn't. It was that guy. But I did my very best to help him blow his channel up and make it bigger. I shared his stuff out all the time, trying to promote it, sent you guys over there. I used some stuff from him on my page to try and draw more attention to it. I used that song at the end of the show, which he gave me written permission for. So he gives me written permission, then goes back and files copyright claims on all the times that I had that song in there. I went through and removed it on all of them. I was up late last night. I went through every video. You will not find a trace of that Brian Brock knucklehead on my channel anywhere now. But the thing is I have written permission to use that stuff. So I'm gonna win those appeals. It's just a pain in the ass. Anyway, that's what I get for being a nice guy to some knucklehead in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I probably should have realized the stuff he says on his content, like he's probably unhinged, so that might be my bad. I'm not a sue-happy guy, but I'm definitely taking legal action on that one. You can't just give someone permission and then file copyright claims. It's ridiculous. Unfortunately, YouTube still accepts them, and then I gotta prove it, and I gotta send it. It's ridiculous, but he's trying to get me canceled. But it reminded me how important it is to get that backup channel. If I ever disappear from here, I will not be silenced. They're not going to get rid of me. You can go over to Make Motocross Great Again, and if I get shut down here, I'll just move right over there. And I'm going to start posting a lot of my stuff over there too, so hopefully you can go over there, subscribe to that one, and like that one. But you can love me, you can hate me, but I have worked my ass off. It would be a couple hours, but if I told you all the things that I've had to deal with from working in the industry to get to where I am now, where I can say what I want, it's insane. You'd be like, even if somebody told me that stuff had happened to them, I'd be like, there's no way, that's crazy. That nobody would do all that over this motocross sport that we have and the tyrants that run it. It's batshit crazy. One day I'm gonna have to drop all the dirty tricks they've done to keep the narrative the way they want it. Man, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of laugh this week when I have these people. So I didn't post the Jet Lawrence video. Lucas Myrtle did. I just commented on it, and I watched my video back, and I get it. I was a bit dramatic. I think a lot of that was, I just watched my friend, this guy who was king of the world a year ago, with all the top riders, millions of dollars, doing great. And to see the way that he's been falsely accused of stealing and dragged him through the mud, I think that's where a lot of that drama comes from. It's not necessarily the words that Jet used. It was more like, I was just more hurt at what they've done to my friend. They have taken him to the brink, and it sucks. So if it seemed a bit overdramatic, that's probably why. And let me ask you, some of these idiots, most of you guys are cool, but there's a couple idiots like that dog collar guy, Ed Gaines. They want me canceled. But you're also claiming you're right-wing anti-cancel culture. Really? Do you not see the hypocrisy right there? And let me ask them this. When did I call for anyone else to be canceled? I haven't. It's okay to call out bad behavior. Bad behavior is not canceling somebody. I didn't call Jet Lawrence's sponsors. I didn't call the AMA and tell them they need to do something. That is not who I am. But I'm not going to let bad behavior skate. And with this thing, it's not just a one-time thing. I researched it after I heard about the video, and that's when I found out it was a pattern. And you might say, well, you brought up what Kyle Larson did, and then you talked about the truck driver. Yeah, a couple people that got canceled that I wasn't okay with. Kyle Larson, that was not okay for him to yell what he did during the video game. That's the NASCAR guy. And then the truck driver that may have shared a post on Instagram, and Honda had him removed from his position at Phoenix Honda, allegedly. That's cancel culture. All I do is talk about bad behavior. Now, just because it's not okay to cancel somebody, that still doesn't make it okay to just spout racist stuff. There are repercussions. Probably boo them, that type of stuff. But I'm not asking for anyone to get canceled. But if you're calling for me to be canceled, you're actually the liberal. Denouncing cancel culture, calling me a liberal, yet calling for me to be canceled. Oh my God. Do you not see it? Like, if you're that dumb, I can't help you. What I give you on my channel is I give you my opinion. I give you what information I have, and I give you my opinion. I don't come here and pander to you. I'm not telling you what I think you want to hear. I have a lot of people tell me, oh, if you did this, people will really like it. I'm not doing that. I'm doing what I want to do, and I hope you like it. And if you don't, it is what it is. I welcome the debate. I base my life on logic, case by case. I do not identify as a Democrat or a Republican. I go issue by issue. My dad taught me when I was a kid not to join a gang. Weak-ass people go with groupthink. I don't go with groupthink, and I know most of you guys don't, but there's a few clowns out there, and they're very loud in the comments section. And I haven't deleted any of their comments, because they're welcome to be a dumbass in the comments section. Where I have a problem is when you actually try to get someone canceled, which I have not done. So if this attitude makes you want to unsubscribe, then you probably should, because this is not the channel for you. And you don't have to subscribe. That's the thing about YouTube. You get to choose whatever you want to watch. You don't have to watch everything. I am a free-thinking American who shares my opinions, and you might not always agree. In fact, even some of you guys that I really like don't agree with me all the time. But you guys also know that when you bring me new information, I'm a logical thinker. I'll think it through, and I'll go with logic. That's where I'm at, man. The world needs more logic. So you idiots who are calling me liberal, telling me that I need to be canceled, do you actually realize you are being exactly what you're mad about and what you're calling left, extreme right? You're both a couple of idiots. You're doing the exact same thing. You're morons. You'll never establish change by doing the same thing that was done to you to somebody else. Come on, man. That's part of what disappointed me so much. I'm like, seriously? That's where you guys are? I really thought people, like the general public, I didn't think there were so many dumb people out there. But then when I looked at that guy and the dog collar, and then that other guy, the fat guy with his RC car, I think he might even still have Cheetos on his hands and probably lives in his mom's basement, cooks Hot Pockets. I guess you guys get a voice here too. And as disappointed as I was to find out the things that I found out about the Lawrence camp, I don't want anyone canceled. And if the AMA sits them out, I'm probably going to be on their side because I don't think that should happen. Does that mean people shouldn't be mad and boo them? They shouldn't be held accountable for their behavior? Yeah, but there's social repercussions. We don't take away people's ability to make a living because you disagree with them. That's wrong in my opinion. Check out RideStrap. Now that's a company that believes in American freedom. Such a cool company. Check out RideStrap to get your red pill shirts. They used to have the Let's Go Brandon goggles. Love those things. Anyway, check out ridestrap.com. Alias MX gear, they got their new 2026 dropping soon. We had this big panic where all the gear companies were like, oh, are we going to get stuff? We're worried about tariffs. Sounds like the Alias stuff is on its way and should be here pretty soon. And I will let you guys know. I don't know how much they'll have, but I know you guys will probably have to move fast because it's going to sell out quick. AliasMX.com. All right, that's enough of me whining about cancel culture and the idiots on the right who are promoting liberal ideals. Man, I am so excited for Paula this weekend, guys. It's like I'm like a kid before Christmas. The first round is always something special. Supercross and motocross is a completely different discipline. So everybody gets to reset. You got guys with Supercross hangovers, you got guys coming in fresh, and without a doubt, Hayden Deegan's the favorite to win the championship. I don't know how you could look at what he did last year, what he did in SMX, and what he did in Supercross, and not make him the favorite to win this championship. But there's a guy that we haven't talked about much. We talked about him a whole bunch heading into the Anaheim Supercross. Levi Kitchen, the Got Dog Balls guy. He lives out near Paula, and he said, man, I've been watching Levi ride for a long time. Apparently those injuries in Daytona, even though that crash looked horrifying, apparently his injuries weren't that bad. So he was able to get riding and start testing, coming into this outdoor series fired up, rested, and under the radar. I think when he got into it with Deegan before the Supercross season, it really backfired on him. It messed with him. I think he's done a very good job at staying out of the media all the way up until this. And if it wasn't for Got Dog Balls, I wouldn't even been talking about him. But he told me, he's like, dude, you should see how fast he's going. And last year, he almost beat Deegan. Remember, they had that big protest at the end of the day because Deegan went off track. He would have got the overall win. I mean, he pushed him all the way till the end. And then Levi Kitchen got a couple big wins last year, but remember, he was fatigued. Well, he's had some time off to go fishing, rest up, heal up, and I'm told he is 100% ready to go for this outdoor series. That could be a problem for Hayden Deegan. Then you got Chance Hymas. He's really tough outdoors. He's not so good at Supercross. He did get that win in the mud, but he came into the season coming off a knee injury. Supercross isn't really his specialty. It's, man, to race yourself into shape with everybody while they're getting better too is brutal. You're almost like chasing it every single week. Now he's got this little break and they change disciplines. They go to what he's really good at. Chance Hymas is going to be in the mix. And now a couple guys that I'm just looking at. My heart's more pulling for these guys than my mind. Joe Shimoda. I just want Joe to have, knowing what he's had to go through with the Lawrences harassing him for staying with Lucas Myrtle. He's a good dude. I've heard he's going to go to Pro Circuit Kawasaki next year. And I'll tell you what, it's probably going to be an uncomfortable summer in that semi with the Lawrence brothers and Hymas. And knowing that Joe stood up for what he thought was right, and they're going to be, it's just going to be uncomfortable. So I would love for him to go out there and win and get all the attention from Honda and be the guy that they're trying to help get on top. Man, that would be a great way to go out for Joe and leave the Honda team and get over to Pro Circuit with that #1 plate. That is my dream season, and I really hope it happens. It's very unlikely, but dang, I would love to see it. Now, I talked about this guy last week, Dylan Schwarz, on that Bar X Yamaha. I didn't think much of him, but I saw him last week at that money race at Glen Helen. He looks good on that Yamaha, and then it reminded me how many good outdoor finishes he had on the Suzuki. And the bike he's riding now is so much better than that Suzuki. I know the guys at Bar X did a heck of a job with that Suzuki, but the platform they're starting with right now is so much better. And Dylan Schwarz, that thing looked hooked up. He looked fast. He's in shape. I don't know if he's going to get in the top 3, but I could see him breaking the top 5 on occasion and just being a real pain in the butt of those. Like, the factory guys are going to get tired of seeing Dylan Schwarz. And how about Max Voland? You know, he came back this year. He's using that hand brake for the Club MX team. By the way, Club MX just keeps getting better. Now they got Chad Reed joining the program. You got Daniel Blair, Chad Reed, Brayton's always there. What an all-star facility. And I'm told they are making one heck of a run at Jason Anderson to get him there. The issue is Jason doesn't want to live in South Carolina. Jason's happy where he lives, and he doesn't want to uproot his whole family. I'm starting to think he might want to do that. I'm starting to think Jason Anderson might be buying into this program since you got Chad Reed, Brayton, Daniel Blair. Might not be that bad a place to live. And I'll tell you what, South Carolina, I went out there and saw Chris from Ride Strapped. What a beautiful area. I think he'd be surprised at how much he would actually like it if he went out there. And we got the return of J-Mart, the 2-time outdoor champion who retired. He retired, but he still had that bug. Now he's in for the first 3 rounds for Star Yamaha, but I'm sure he's going to stay for longer. I'm pretty sure Pierce Brown's out for the whole year. I'm not sure when Max Anstey's coming back. I think a lot will depend on Max Anstey and the results. If he's getting top 5s, I don't think they're pulling him. If he's like 15th, 16th, 17th, they might pull him after 3. I think if he's inside the top 10 in points after 3 rounds, you're going to see him continue. And if he's outside the top 10, I don't know. And I think it's going to be tough for Max Anstey. I mean, he broke the leg in Supercross, so you can't do a lot of cardio training. So coming into outdoors off of a leg injury, that's tough. 2 30-minute plus 2 lap motos. We're talking 35 minutes twice with an hour break. If you haven't got that base cardio, it's really hard to race yourself into shape, but I think what he wants to do is just get as many points as he can and go for that SMX title, that 3-race battle at the end of the year. And we've heard Julian Bome making huge improvements in outdoors. He made huge improvements in Supercross. How high? What's the ceiling for him in outdoors? Can he become a contender? I'm not sure. You know I love Julian Bome, and he has so much talent. But when I've always said that, I've kind of more looked at Supercross instead of outdoor motocross. But you forget, he started this whole thing a little bit later than these other guys. So his skills, they tend to develop a little faster. So he might be able to make that jump in outdoors to become a consistent podium guy and maybe get a win or two. Then you got the big man, Garrett Marchbanks out there. Him and his teammate, Drew Adams. A couple of big dudes out there on 250s. I don't know where both those guys can ride the wheels off those things, but they're big dudes, and on a 250, that's kind of tough. Marchbanks is going to have some good motos. I think you're going to see him up inside the top 5 consistently, in the top 10 almost all the time. Drew Adams, I think you're going to see flashes, but I don't know if he's going to be there week in and week out. I saw Ryder D's back racing. Ryder D had that bad crash in Supercross and hurt his internals. So it looks like he's back riding and should be at Paula. He raced the Glen Helen money race and looked pretty good. He's still racing himself back into shape. I think he could get inside the top 10, and I think a top 10 is good for Ryder D at this point in his recovery. Casey Cochran, who was also injured, from a bike malfunction earlier before the Supercross season, and his was bad. It was a hip injury that could have cost him his career. But it looks like he's back riding. I haven't confirmed exactly when he's coming back to racing. I hope he just makes sure that he's good to go, but he's got to do something. His contract's up this year, and I don't think that GasGas team's going to be there, so he really has to go out and show something. Man, it's a bad situation for Casey Cochran. He's injured, but he has to do something or he doesn't get a job. But it wasn't even his fault that he got hurt. The bike broke. Then you got Michael Mosman, who on any given day can run top 3 or 15th. Seth Hamaker, who's extremely fast, but he hasn't had the endurance in years past. But the new program, will he have the endurance to go the distance? Because if he does, he'll be on the podium. Then you got Nate Thrasher, Austin Faulkner, 2 guys I don't expect a lot outdoors, both a couple of veterans, but on any given moto with a good start, they might make some noise. I look for those guys to be around 10th place. I think Faulkner's got to get up inside that top 10. I know he's building this year and he's coming back from some incredibly difficult stuff, but I think he's got to try and consistently be inside that top 10, because if he's around 18 to 20, if he's struggling to get points, it's going to make for a really long summer. And I can't wait to see what rookie Enzo Timmerman, he's not doing the whole series. He was at Glen Helen last weekend, the Ironman, 4 30-minute plus 2 lap motos out there for money. Enzo Timmerman, what can he do? I don't know. He's going to do, I think, 3 nationals and go back to the amateurs. I want to see what Enzo Timmerman can do. Shout out to the people that got Lake Elsinore back. We need every track we can get. They've got that place looking immaculate, and it is reopening. So thank you to all the people around Lake Elsinore who worked their asses off to bring that track back. And I know they're redoing it. I guess Jason Baker's rebuilding it. Just awesome. Thank you to everybody who brought Elsinore back. I'll be back with a 450 video tomorrow. We got a couple 250 guys jumping up. Cody Schock, RJ Hampshire. I'm going to let you know where I think they'll finish. Oh my gosh, I almost did the whole 250 video and didn't mention Tom Vial. Yeah, top 3, top 5, but until he shows me he can do it on hard packed tracks and not just, Southwick, I'm not sold completely on him. But I sure hope he does good. There's not many guys in the pits that are cooler and nicer than Tom Vial. Thank you, members. You're all entered to win the 32-ounce bottle of Nano Xtreme. We're giving that away at the end of May. And then in December, you get a new XQi3 electric motorcycle. So a lucky member will win that, and I'm gonna have you guys come out and ride with me if you can. So that'll be fun. I get my bike this week and I can't wait. Thank you guys. Here's your member of the day.